Hello, Commanders, and welcome to the Radio Sidewinder Talk Show. I'm Commander Felix Jefferson, and I am joined by
Commander Honorus Necis,
Commander Chives,
and Commander Proud Cipher.
And we are going to be with you through the black to entertain you in this brand new year of 3302. And
it's exciting.
It's exciting, yeah, it's fun. New year.
I still have a hangover.
Too much space weed.
Too much of that Lavian brandy.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Aaron Pearl whiskey.
Well, all right, Felix, what's first on the agenda for today?
Well, I think for this first episode, this exciting episode, which, by the way, is being recorded on Radio Sidewinder's birthday.
Woo,
Happy
birthday, Radio.
Sidewinder.
Yay,
Yep.
Radio Sidewinder.
January 8th, that is, for those of you who did not know.
Congratulations, you done it.
For the first topic, I'm going to go over a little bit of power play. Get into a little bit of politics and see how everyone's doing tonight. So, for the power play highlights, this week the Alliance gained yet another system in their vast trade network, the Partha system. This means that there are now an astounding total of 86 systems in their network. Meanwhile, in the Federation, the Federal Navy has set a new record for itself by delivering more garrison supplies to naval bases in a single week than ever before. This week proved to be calm for most of the Empire, with the exception of Denton Petraeus and Aisling Duval. Petraeus is facing even more economic troubles, and to top it all off, has faced harsh resistance to the expansion in the Conti and Yankis systems. The same can't be said for the Princess, though, as the toughest thing she must deal with is the Iron Palang system leaving her control. The Cirrus Corporation has also had a rather quiet week, and is expected to try re-establishing its lost relations with some of its systems. Pranav
We apologize for Sir Felix Jefferson.
Pranav Antal finally expanded control to 45 systems, a feat that no one believed could be accomplished by the technology-driven power. And to wrap up this week's power play, Archon Delane was working in the 23 Delta Pisces Austrini and HIP 103138 systems to further his piracy. That's it for this week's power play highlights, and now we can go on to the regular discussion.
Beautiful.
I have to say, we apologize for Commander Felix Jefferson's stroke.
I get those a lot. Yeah.
Saying things.
He's
Too
working
much
on it,
time in
God
the deep
bless him.
space.
Yeah, I need help. Too much indie bourbon.
Too many.
I'd like to say,
So,
firstly, that I'm very proud of my brothers-in-arms in the Federation. We made a major contribution, and I'm very proud of every one of them for what they've done.
Praise Hudson.
That's very amazing that they've delivered so much supplies and all that. So yeah, I know I heard recently that the Robigo system has been facing some difficulties, to say the least.
And if by difficulties you mean a fat bunch of anacondas, then yeah.
Yeah.
Plasma accelerators and all, blocking me and my slaves. I mean, when has a man not had a right to trade slaves?
Apparently right now.
Yeah, apparently right now in the Robigo system.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a problem. I know also that someone has tried to run that blockade, but it has not proved successful.
All I'm saying is that bounties on their heads could probably buy you anything you want.
The bounties are very high on those murderers that are at Robigo right now.
Now, they claimed to be, anti-slaver and whatever, and that they were blockading Robigo to stop the slave trade. But didn't they have an operation over at 17 Draconis, which it's supposed to be a relief effort over there?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that they did go to 17 Draconis, which, like you said, yeah, it's a relief effort. Actually, I know they're also making some adjustments to the starport there. So they're having some troubles on their own already. And for the Federation pilots that want to get ranks and also just donate their credits to the cause, it's been really difficult for them to get out there. And help them. So.
Well, I think I'd just like to say two things about these guys that are blockading Robigo, and which is, I'm highly surprised that no one has sought after their bounties. I'm surprised they're still flying around and these anacondas are theirs. Because I know that I'll be trying to get them. At this point, they're probably worth a fair amount of money, and I could use that money, those credits. Secondly, I have heard reports that they aren't even scanning these ships that are coming into the system, and they're just firing at will on anybody who happens to be in the area, which, if they're fighting for slaves' rights, shouldn't they, make sure that the person they're attacking, the commander whose ship they're about to blow up, is actually smuggling slaves?
Murder for the sake of murder.
And, you would think that even if they did have slaves, they wouldn't blow them up due to the fact that the slaves would blow up with them.
Another excellent point.
Yeah.
I think these guys are just anti-fun.
Yeah, they can't be pirates because they're not really looking for cargo. They're just killing people. So
they're just murderers. Even pirates have a cause.
Yeah, at least pirates have a cause. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, commanders, why aren't you out there going to kill them? Come on. There must be like multi-million credit bounties on these guys right now. Go out there and try and kill them.
Just go up there and ram them up the butt.
But Rovigo is so far away, and ugh.
It's out there in the space boonies.
Yeah, I guess, but still.
I could get a couple on my vulture buddies. We could go out and nab them.
Yeah,
Man, I did hear that they do have a railgun, and at least 2 of their ships have plasma accelerators.
Whoop-de-doo.
But still, what's one plasma accelerator to like 3 or so vultures?
One dead vulture?
Well, yeah, okay, maybe it is at least one dead vulture, but still.
That's still another 3 commanders out there who can collect that bounty.
Right,
dead
yeah.
Bad vulture. But seriously, though, they're nothing more than a bunch of petty terrorists who are disguising their rampage under the guise of goodwill. It's pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
Well, what do you have to say to the fact that apparently they're aligned with Aisling Duval, I believe?
I've never liked those Duval people.
No, but seriously, to the person that ends the Robigo Blockade, come tell us.
Yeah. We would interview you on the show.
On Radio Sidewinder.
On Radio Sidewinder.
You would be like twice as famous as you are right now, unless you're already famous.
Least.
In which case, you'd probably be less famous.
Well, yeah. But
But we won't tell you that because we want you to finish this blockade and come talk to us about it.
Someone just blow them up.
Please.
Blow them up so I can trade my slaves, please.
I actually have a bit of an announcement of the community events section.
Buckyball!
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 Yeah, Buckyball is back in its 9th public iteration, at least.
Jeez, you know how far this one's going, by the way?
I believe it's 594 light years, which is quite a distance.
That's wow.
Yeah,
it's something.
Show me when someone makes it in the Sidewinder. Ugh.
Oh yeah. All that 9 light years
or
whatever.
I bet I could do it in a Corvette.
Now I'll just take the FNS Neptune up there, or whatever that capital ship is that's near Seoul right now.
No, the big one.
Oh I visited. It was the Orion. I recently got my permit for Seoul. I went in to take a look because I noticed there was a capital ship on my sensors. I got too close and then they pointed their big cannons at me and I cried a little.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you probably would have died slowly in the vastness of space if it makes you feel any better. The cannon wouldn't have killed you.
I don't know, the vulture canopy is pretty big.
I know, you were just sitting there, dreading of air.
When's the Buckyball live stream?
That's an excellent question.
That is an excellent question. The Buckyball live stream and live event is the 9th of January at 2100 GMT. So
can you say it in normal time for normal people?
It's galactic mean time, you scrub. Get it right.
I'm sorry for being such a pleb.
2,100 hours. That'd be like, what?
9 p.m.
9 o'clock?
Yeah, around that, I think.
So it's 2100 GMT, and the race is from Garden Enterprise in HIP 78136 all the way 594 light years to the Obsidian Portal in the Maya system.
Right.
Obsidian Portal? What do we...
Yeah, right. What he meant to say was Obsidian Orbital.
That's the one.
Obsidian Orbital. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. All right. On more serious note, have you noticed all of the weird shutdowns that has been afflicting a number of stations in the recent weeks?
You know, I'm glad you bring that up, because I have, actually, and on December 17th, 3301, I'll have you know, I flew out to one of those infected, messing up stations with my Cobra, and I believe it was Gabriel Enterprise, and I flew in there like normal, loads of people in there just doing their day-to-day business, and I thought, well, what's the big deal? I get in here just fine, I dock just fine, I refueled, rearmed, and everything, but when I left, I started to notice a strange noise coming from my ship, and every time I exited high jump, exited super cruise, went into super cruise, whatever, I would hear this noise.
Sure you're just not popping the clutch?
Sure?
Well,
are you sure you weren't driving with the brakes on?
No, I checked all that. I triple checked that, actually, and I was lucky enough to record a clip just in case anyone else has been hearing the same noise. So we'll play that right now.
Okay, you said you started at Gabriel Enterprise?
Yeah.
Isn't that where the Buckyball run is starting?
Garden Enterprise.
Garden Enterprise.
That
okay.
would have been hilarious.
About to say.
They spread it across the galaxy.
Conspiracy!
But to be fair, Obsidian Orbital is starting to have technical difficulties.
Oh
This could be
dear.
bad.
So it's going to be fun
Actually,
for
I
everyone making the run.
didn't catch the last Buckyball. How did that turn out?
Okay, so the last Buckyball, they tried to sacrifice a bunch of people to a black hole. Now they're trying to do it to alien space viruses?
Yeah, sounds like fun. Sounds like a good time.
I don't think there's actually aliens, guys. Come on, let's be serious.
No, it's
one's
definitely
seen a
Zargoids.
Zargoid.
Well,
yeah,
a couple of groups had noted that they believe these phenomena may be somehow linked to the Thargoids. They hinted that the Thargoids may be attempting a normal space incursion. If that isn't very scary sounding, then
it is.
It's terrifying.
They think the Thargoids want to come mess with us.
I don't think they're Gargoyles.
They shouldn't be able to leave witch space, should they?
No, right.
And when was the last time we ever heard from a Thargoid? Wasn't it like
jeez.
30-something years ago?
It was a long time ago.
I'm starting to believe that they never even existed. I think they were just people in rubber masks.
Yeah.
Well,
People in rubber masks that live in a dimension that makes no physical sense.
Makes sense
and
to me.
it shoots any commander that they interdict.
Look, all I'm saying is that I'm keeping my railguns and my, all my lasers charged up just for when it happens, because it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's probably going to happen, and soon. Think soon.
I'm excited. Maybe there'll be a bounty on a Thargoid.
Ooh.
Make some mad money off of
I'm
that.
with you on
I'm just
that.
excited because what if we steal? I say steal, but I mean borrow some of their technology to increase our ship's capability.
Do you know how many slaves I can hold with all that Thargoid cargo space?
Wait. Is it Thargoid slaves or human slaves? Because I think Thargoid slaves would sell for quite a bit more.
Ooh, I don't know.
That's a good point.
How do you enslave an interdimensional alien, though? I mean, that's the real question.
Chains.
Well, yeah, so that was my experience with these stations. I wouldn't suggest anyone else to go in there until we are...
Also, if any of you explorers out there have seen anything remotely weird, please be sure to message us or tell us about it, and we might get you on the show if you seem credible.
Did I tell you about the Coriolis station I found sitting in a planetary ring?
No, actually.
It was just the other day. I was doing some bounty hunting. I was going to stop by a Hazres site in my vulture, because that's what I do for a living. I eat anacondas. And at first, because when I jumped into the site, at first I thought I had just landed in front of a really big asteroid, like unusually large, because I could barely see anything. And I had noticed, after sitting for a while and trying to maneuver and get a look at this thing, I saw a window. So I backed it up, turned on my headlights, and bam, in the middle of an asteroid belt surrounding a planet was a Coriolis station.
Oh, the Coriolis station is the weird square looking one.
That's the big, like D20 looking things.
Oh.
Yeah, the older stations.
It was just sitting there.
It was just sitting there. And I've never seen a space station look so dead and empty in my entire life. It was absolutely bone-chillingly frightening.
I mean, could you land, or did you not even attempt to?
Well, I didn't have a chance, because about a minute after I showed up, 6 anacondas decided to pay me a visit. It looked like I guess it was some pirates.
And that's too much of a
who
meal
were coming
for you,
to
even
investigate.
though you eat anacondas.
Oh yeah, I know. My little vulture barely escaped, because I was not only mass-locked by the asteroid belt, I was mass-locked by the station.
Oh.
Could you tell if it had power to it, or was it like just completely dead?
I noticed that some of the windows were lit like they normally were, but I didn't see any traffic at all. They didn't show up in my contacts, because I checked my contacts panel. There was nothing, no signal at all. Wasn't even registering on my heads-up display. So after the anacondas bit me in my rear end, I jumped out and decided I'd come in at another angle to get a better look at it, hopefully away from the anaconda's attention. And after I'd come in, I had to maneuver around a little bit so I can go back to where I last saw the station, and it just wasn't there. It was just not there anymore. I noticed some debris, but it wasn't enough to make up a giant station like that. It looked more like the anacondas had been destroyed.
So it was just gone. Just completely.
It was just gone. Yeah, I wasn't having any of that. I jiggled my way out of there quick.
Like a ghost station? Kind of like a ghost ship?
It was so weird. I've got no idea.
Some crazy scientist affixed like an FSD drive to a station or something?
Well, they've done that before. There's little housing units with FSDs strapped to it. I know an author a few years ago used it to avoid paying taxes.
That's true. Yes, I remember hearing about that.
He wrote a novel about it. But I went to a local station to try and report it to the federal authorities, and I've been trying to contact them about information, and now they've pretended like I never told them about it.
Well, did you go to the Imperials, or because
the Imperials are dumb, but I don't know if they'd abduct a station.
Abduct the station. How would that even work? Would they just
that doesn't really. Why would they do that though? Too. What would be their motive?
Unless it was the Thargoids and they're trying to steal us.
Makes you wonder about the Thargoids, though.
Right. Although that is interesting that you bring that up, though, because I have also heard some people that were using their new permissions to land on planets, and all of a sudden they would go over a hill or some feature, and there would be a station just right there, crashed into the planet.
And that was the weird thing. It didn't look like they actually crashed. There was no crater or bird marks or anything. They were just kind of there, half embedded in the soil.
That's weird.
Spooky.
It's disconcerting is what it is.
Very.
Very worrying.
Alright, well, that's all we have time for this week, Commanders. Join us next week for the next episode of the Radio Sidewinder Talk Show. Fly safe.